Let's jump right into this explainer. Today we're taking something we have absolutely all experienced, just a common, everyday, frustrating encounter, and we're going to uncover how our source material uses it to reveal a pretty profound roadmap for today's younger generation. We're exploring how everyday friction might actually be the key to unlocking a massive sense of purpose. So we're shifting our perspective from minor annoyances all the way to a literal cosmic chain reaction.
You know that feeling when you're just out getting a coffee or grabbing lunch and you see an older person totally losing it on a worker, making unreasonable demands, cutting in line, just treating people poorly? And it's usually directed at someone younger or in a weaker position. In those uncomfortable moments, it's totally natural to think to yourself, man, what made them like that? I never want to age that way. Well, instead of just complaining about it, the text we're looking at uses this exact everyday friction to expose a massive structural flaw in how our modern society is organized.
So, according to the source, society has made a pretty critical and honestly kind of lazy error. Over the past few decades, we've essentially taken anyone over a certain age and dumped them into a single bucket labeled senior citizens. We built senior centers and just lumped everyone who is aging together. But by doing that, we completely neglected to cultivate a distinct and incredibly necessary role: true adults. A healthy society actually needs a layered structure: children, youth, and at the very top, adults who provide guidance. By failing to intentionally produce these true adults, we've created a really dangerous leadership void.
Basically, the text establishes a huge conceptual difference here. Simply getting older and retiring, that just makes you a senior, someone who has essentially aged out of the active system. But a true adult, that is something entirely different. A true adult is someone who has actively cultivated wisdom over their entire lifetime. They don't have to demand respect by yelling at a barista. They command it naturally through their presence and their actions. They are the ones actually supposed to provide a moral compass and maintain order in society.
And it really all comes down to this missing tier. The argument is that because older generations failed to produce enough of these true adults, our society right now completely lacks a guiding discipline. When you look at the top of our societal structure, those true adults, they're just missing. And without them, there is no natural order. Honestly, it perfectly explains the chaotic, disrespectful behavior we see in public. The people acting out aren't acting like adults. They're just aging seniors who were never taught how to hold that revered, respected position.
Okay, so this brings us to a massive question. If the older generations haven't maintained order, if they completely dropped the ball on building this tier of true adults, what on earth is the role of today's youth? Do you just sit back, complain about boomers, and rebel? Actually, no. The source suggests a completely paradigm-shifting duty for the younger demographic. Instead of checking out, the idea is that the universe is actually showing you exactly what's broken, specifically so you can be the ones to fix it. To put this into perspective, the source brings up some really fascinating numbers to show how this builds across generations. If we measure a generation's capacity as intellectuals, which here means those equipped with vast amounts of accumulated human knowledge, only about 30% of baby boomers reach this level. For Gen X, it jumped to 70%. But for today's youth, the digital natives, a staggering 100% of them fall into this category. Thanks to unprecedented access to information, they have absorbed the cumulative knowledge of human history. They are literally a generation made up entirely of intellectuals.
But hold on, what does being a 100% intellectual actually require of you? Well, in this framework, an intellectual isn't just someone sitting in a library reading philosophy. It means you are fundamentally a researcher. Your primary role in society is to actively study the world's flaws, find the contradictions, and design real solutions. You aren't meant to just join the traditional daily grind. Honestly, it's easier to just farm crops and live day to day if you don't have knowledge. But because you're equipped with this massive intellectual foundation, your actual job is to research society itself.
Right, so let's jump back to that awkward restaurant scene. When you see that grumpy person causing a scene, the text gives an exact 4-step roadmap. Step 1. Observe their flaw, but without hatred. Don't hate them. Recognize they are just showing you a societal failure. Step 2. Form groups with like-minded peers who share your values. Step 3. Actively research why society got this way. Why did the family unit break down? Why is everyone so angry? And Step 4. Use that research to ensure you don't repeat the cycle. You are literally researching how to become the true adults that they've failed to be.
Now, the source does drop a pretty heavy warning here. It says that if a generation of 100% intellectuals ignores this duty, like if they just decide they want to work for a paycheck,
chase money, and focus only on basic survival, they're going to face immense hardship. Living just to eat and survive, that's the life of an animal, not an intellectual. If you try to live like that with a mind built for complex societal research, things will constantly go wrong. You'll feel lost, frustrated, and your life will just become incredibly difficult.
I hear you, though. You're probably sitting there thinking, okay, but I still have to pay rent. How do I survive if I'm just researching society? Well, the argument here is that if you truly focus on your duty as a societal researcher, resources will naturally find you. The idea is that massive global economic foundations aren't just sitting around wanting to give money away for nothing. They are actively waiting to fund genuine, well-researched solutions to human problems. Step up, create actual value by solving societal friction, and the support will be there. Money follows purpose, absolutely not the other way around.
So, let's zoom out for a second. We've talked about the restaurant, the generational breakdown, and even the economics of finding your purpose. But there is a much larger system at play here. What is the ultimate macro-level goal of sitting down with your peers and figuring out how to heal a broken society? Where does this all lead? The text describes it almost like a massive cosmic chain reaction, which is fascinating. When the younger generation finds genuine joy in their purposeful research, when they're actually solving problems instead of just surviving, that positive energy naturally radiates upward. It's a ripple effect. The youth's joy makes their parents deeply proud and happy. And that happiness doesn't just stop there. It continues to radiate upward, bringing joy to the ancestors who sacrificed for them and ultimately causing the universe itself to rejoice. The idea is that everything falls into perfect alignment when the youth finally embrace their true role.
I want to leave you with this really provocative thought, straight from the source. It boldly claims that true happiness doesn't belong to the ancestors or even to a higher power in the sky. It belongs to us, the living, right here and right now. It is only when we are joyful that those who sacrifice for us can truly rejoice. So knowing all of this, the next time you see the glaring flaws in the world around you, are you just going to complain about it? Or will you step up, do the research, and actually become the true adult of tomorrow?